Am I the asshole for refrigerating my Milanos? To say I, 29F, love Milanos would be an understatement. They are my absolute favorite, my comfort food. After years of eating them, I eventually discovered that I like them best refrigerated. Being able to bite into them just makes them taste better to me, it's a texture thing. Kind of weird, I suppose, but it's just how I like them. It's not, however, how my husband, 31M, likes them. He always tells me that I shouldn't refrigerate them, that they're cookies, they're not meant to be refrigerated. Every day, I find that he's taken them out of the refrigerator. This is annoying, because again, these are my favorite snack. I will eat them almost every day, whereas he will only eat them on occasion. I have tried buying him his own separate Milanos, but that doesn't stop him from taking mine out of the fridge. He just doesn't want to see him there, and nothing I say to him seems to convince him otherwise. We've been fighting on and off about this for a while, and it came to a head recently. He's telling me to just stop it and I don't know what to do at this point. Am I the asshole for continuing to put them in the refrigerator? Too long did not read. My husband and I keep moving the Milanos in and out of the fridge, and we're both getting on each other's nerves. Not the asshole. The fact that even when you get separate bags of cookies, he still insists on taking yours out, means that he is being a weirdo control freak about this. Does he start power struggles about a lot of other things? Not the asshole. This is exactly the kind of weird fight I love to stumble across in this sub. Something that doesn't matter really at all, but has turned into a sticking point in a marriage. Keep those cookies cool, kid. Remember that time your husband was an asshole over cookies? Pepperidge Farm remembers. Not the asshole. Lol. If this were me, both of my entire refrigerators would be totally jammed full of Milano cookie bags by now. I'd just keep buying more and stuffing them in the fridge until he got the hint to stop removing them. Oh, not the asshole, by the way. Not the asshole. You're entitled to your preferences and he's entitled to his. The problem is that he doesn't think you're entitled to your preferences. That's the real problem. Not the asshole. You bought him his own cookies. He can do with his cookies as he likes. Why doesn't he respect you enough to leave your food alone? Not the asshole. Why does it bother your husband so much how you choose to eat your cookies? It's really unnecessarily controlling. Is he controlling in other ways? Not the asshole. I actually freeze my Milanos, love them like that. Meanwhile, your husband is being completely ridiculous. Why does he even care? Am I the asshole for being angry with my husband and Mil for choosing the name for our daughter? I, 28F, and my husband, 28M, are expecting our first child together. Our daughter's due date is approaching, and I am feeling very nervous and anxious. My husband and I decided on naming our daughter, Anna, after my grandmother. I spent most of my childhood and teen years with my grandparents. I was extremely close with my grandmother and was devastated when she passed away in 2016 from lung cancer. We live close to my grandfather and visit him on a daily basis. It means so much to my grandfather that we are naming our daughter, Anne. My Mil and I are cordial when we get together. My husband is her only child, and she feels like since I stepped into his life, their relationship changed. He is still very close with her, but he doesn't visit often because of the pregnancy. Mil invited us over for a small dinner party and I thought it was going to be a pleasant evening. When we sat down for dinner, my Mil turns to me and says, "Husband and I spoke this past week and he told me that you were going to be changing her name to be after me." I could feel my anxiety level rising and said no. We are still planning on keeping her name to be Anne. Right? I gave my husband a look and he doesn't say anything. My Mil makes a face and says, "Well, it seems like husband is not on board with her name." I finished eating and told husband that we were leaving. We get into the car and husband tries to apologize. I told him that I was angry with him for not discussing with me and even more upset with Mil. Mil sent me a few text messages regarding my behavior that evening and hopes I will change my mind. And #X200B. Am I the asshole for being angry with my husband and Mil for choosing the name for our daughter? Not the asshole. I don't get why you're acting like they made a definitive choice. Your Mil can say whatever stupid shit she wants, that doesn't mean you have to listen. I'm really disappointed by how your husband is behaving. Not the asshole. It is completely unacceptable for your husband and a third party to decide anything about your child without consulting you. If you let this slide, in any way, I bet your Mil will think she can run your life and decide how your child is raised, too. Put your foot down, as hard as you can. Quit reading this and do it now. Not the asshole. Tell the nurses in the delivery room not to let your husband sign the birth certificate. Also, this may be the start of her bulldozing your husband. I suggest Justnomal. AITA. As you, Raspberry mentioned, Justnoso is a good place too. Not the asshole. You already agreed. Don't sign the birth certificate without the right name on it and make your wishes known to the nurses ahead of time. Not the asshole. If hubby doesn't give Mil a clear message that Mil isn't running your lives, then tell them both you checked. But, over-controlling narcissistic son smothering witch, won't fit as a name on a birth certificate, so you're sticking with Anne. Not the asshole. Your Mil is obviously a piece of work, but that is not the problem here. You have a husband who was raised by an overbearing woman and hasn't become an actual adult yet who can say no and enforce healthy boundaries. Get to couples counseling immediately. And get him into individual therapy. You will need an adult partner you can trust to help raise a child. How spineless of him. You have every right to be angry. He either let her talk him into it or he couldn't tell you he wanted a different name. Your husband needs to grow a pair. Not the asshole. You're not the asshole. This should be a big red flag for you, though. Your husband is siding with his mother over you. How do you think this will go in the future when she has opinions about how you parent your child? Will your husband continue to side with his mother and make important plans behind your back? He needs to grow a pair and stand up for your family. Am I the asshole for making my son shower at school? My son is in the 6th grade and showering is not a big deal to him anymore. To make matters worse, he has sports after school, which is at his school, so when I pick him up, he stinks. He will promise to shower but doesn't do a good job. Yesterday I went to pick him up and handed him a bag with shampoo, body wash, clean clothes and deodorant. He asked me what that was for and I said he's going to take a shower in the boys' locker room. There were a few older kids in there who shower. He refused and I said he's not coming home until he does. He said he'd take one at home and I said nope. I also told him not to bother calling his mom. He did shower and was fresh and clean but had tears in his eyes. I told him when I dropped him off that he either showers at home or at school and I'll always have a change bag for with on me. His mom says the whole thing is a waste of time. Edit. He can but won't shower at home. And very well when he does. He's not being prevented from showering at home. You are the asshole. Forcing him to get naked in a place where he is clearly uncomfortable doing so makes you not only an asshole but an absolutely terrible parent. You are the asshole. Public showering is incredibly uncomfortable for a lot of young people. It's traumatic for some. You are the asshole. You admit in the comments that he told you he doesn't like to shower at school because other people seeing him naked makes him uncomfortable. And so you forced him to be naked in front of others? Doesn't matter how long he's known these people. He doesn't want to be naked in front of people, and that's reasonable. If your son has a hygiene problem stemming from not showering correctly, that's something to deal with privately at home. He can shower after school at home, and you can be a parent and teach him to do a good job of it, where he feels safe. You are the asshole. Do you not remember what boys' locker rooms are like and the kinds of kids that can hang out in them? Buy the kid some deodorant and an air freshener for your car and suck up one of the hassles of parenting. Without bullying your kid. Oh yeah, you are the asshole. Showering at school sucks. It's stressful and embarrassing. Why don't you teach your kid how to clean himself properly? You are the asshole. 6th grade is so young and this just broke my heart. This is a battle you have at home. You are the asshole. Why do you pressure him into doing something he clearly doesn't want? Just let him shower at home. WTF. You are the asshole. And what a huge one. Your son cried, damn it. Do you have no feelings for your child, or do you just want to live out your ego trip? Am I the asshole for not letting my daughter take a job at a funeral home? I, 35 female, have a 16-year-old daughter. For a few months she said she wanted to be a funeral director when she's an adult, but I figured it was a phase. Yesterday, she came home and said that one of her friends got a job at a funeral home and that they had an open job for an internship that wasn't a skilled position, could be filled by a high schooler, and she asked if she could apply. I told her I'd think about it. I don't think it's an appropriate first job and I don't want her working and doing that kind of thing, she's only a kid. I told her I thought it would be better for her to work somewhere else and she got very upset, saying that I always dismissed her interests and that she should be able to do what she is interested in. I told her it was not a good first job and that I have friends that could help her get a job, but she said she wasn't interested. She's been pissed at me ever since and went to her dad's house, and is saying that she won't come back unless I let her do it, because he will. I just don't think it's a good idea and I don't want her doing it, and it's not a typical first job and may look weird on resumes and college applications. She and her father both think I'm being a jerk and say I have an outdated way of thinking. Am I the asshole? You are the asshole. Just because you don't like it and it makes you uncomfortable does not mean the same for her. Let her make her own choices. I would not stop your kid from doing any internship in this economy. You are the asshole. You are the asshole. There's nothing wrong with working in a funeral home. Honestly, it's a pretty respectable job, and I doubt colleges or other jobs are going to turn your daughter away for having work experience with one. She's interested in it, and working in something you're interested in is a hell of a lot better than getting a job you hate. Just let her apply. If she gets the job, then she'll be happy. If she doesn't, that'll suck, but at least it shows that you tried to support her by letting her apply for the job. You are the asshole. If she's interested in a field, and can get a job as a teen that will help her in the future, why is that a bad thing? You are the asshole. It's an internship, meaning she'll likely be learning about funeral services and things like that. They're not going to have her in the back embalming bodies. If she wants to pursue being a funeral director as a career, having the motivation to intern as a 16-year-old will not only look amazing to mortuary schools, but will give her a leg up in terms of her studies. Mortuary science is an incredibly respectable field, and she's showing potential schools that she's dedicated. The only thing that's inappropriate is your lack of support for your daughter's goals. You are the asshole. She won't be embalming dead people, for goodness sake. That would take far more training. She'll be doing paperwork and answering phones. Let her do this so she can see if this is something that she's still interested in after being more closely exposed to it. You are the asshole. You're more worried about appearances than your daughter's interests? She's not choosing a lifelong thing, she wants an internship. If she doesn't like it, she'll learn that and move on to something else. You are the asshole. Death is a part of life. It shouldn't be taboo. We all live our lives thinking everyone is invincible, when in fact we are all incredibly fragile and our lives can be snuffed out at any moment. I think your daughter will gain a lot of experience from a job like this.